All right, then we got a couple of AI related stories. So this is again like in some ways obvious. We know that Microsoft has been working with ChatGPT for a long time before this, and actually this $10 billion investment of Microsoft in ChatGPT was actually a renewal. The renewal was coming up. They were already working with ChatGPT, and you got to know that Google was also working with AI companies. Whether they were working with Bard or not, we don't know. But you can also imagine, I've got absolutely zero doubt in my mind that all the big tech companies have got an AI division and are working with AI companies, not just because of the news of ChatGPT coming out in the last couple of months, so much, but this has been around for 5-10 years, and the big tech companies are definitely all very much involved. I mean, Apple, Facebook, all of them are using AI quite extensively, in my opinion. But what we do see is Google has now announced, it's in retaliation to Microsoft announcing about Bing. Google's announced that they've got their own chatbot. It's called Bard, right? BARD. Now, this is good to know because everyone was saying, look, Google's going to be taken out by this, because whereas when you search on Google, you're almost like walking into a library and saying to Google, where do I find a book on cooking? Right. And Google says to you, right here and right here and right here. You then have to go.
Sponsored ads.
Exactly. You then have to go open the book and look at the back of the book, and you have to do your own sort of research. Whereas AI is like, hi, ChatGPT, please write me a cooking book. I like cooking books to be quite short. I like them to have pictures. I prefer vegan, and it will write you the perfect cooking book. So that's easy to see how Google could feel threatened when Bing, Microsoft search engine, is now writing the cooking book, opposed to just showing people hundreds of thousands of cooking books as results. So Google's quickly come out and said, hold on, guys. We've also got our AI. Don't worry so much. And they've called it Bard, BARD. And that's what's happening. So now we've got the big giants of Google and Microsoft, the two biggest search engines. Bing is about 11% of the search engine market. Google is about 70 something percent, but Bing is the next biggest. So Google's huge, and then Bing is the next biggest, and then you got a whole lot of other little ones under it, right? So this is great to see. AI is going to be coming to search results, which is really cool.
This is a step in a positive direction for content creators, because we are seeing, and people have been saying this for a while, attention's the new money. But let me tell y'all, fam, attention is the money now. Like, for real, you're watching tech giants fight over attention. The money comes with the attention, but the real power comes from your influence online. Whoever people go to when they think, what am I going to look something up? Do they go to ChatGPT or do they go to Google? Now they're two separate entities. They're going to be competing for your attention because they compete for your usage, basically, and they want you to use their engine. And so to do that, they're going to have to one up each other, which is great for us because we are the benefactors of all those upgrades. So now we have a big decision. Do we roll back into Bing? For myself, that's probably not going to happen. Like, there's a very little chance that I go to Bing, even though ChatGPT is there, if Google's going to have their own and it's just as good. So if their AI product is just as good and I can just use that, I think a lot of people would just stick with Google. It'll be really hard to get people to jump back into Bing. I can't tell you the last time I got on Bing, and I don't really want to. So it's a really tough decision, but it's cool because we're watching tech giants do this. We watch YouTube and TikTok fight. We're watching all the tech giants fight. And for people who are content creators, you want to be a content creator, this is the time, because you're going to be the ones who can benefit from this. And it's going to be a great time for us. That's why I'm full force content. Like, nothing has changed from my thesis there, but this is awesome. AI is going to do a lot of things, but it will help. And I'm very excited to see where it goes.
So the big question now, and the thing that's going to be interesting to watch unfold, is like, who's going to be first to market? So we do know that Microsoft has already started integrating AI. Is Google just playing defensive here? So are they? Yes, they have this company that they bought, but are they years out and they're saying, hold on, Cade, who loves Google, and Philip, who love Google, are now going to maybe move over to Bing, maybe enjoy it. Let's quickly tell them, guys, don't even worry. We're going to have the same thing on Google. Stay where you are.
Mm.
Or are they pretty much ready to launch? Are they round the corner from launching it? That's what the question is,
It's
right?
hard to know because the ChatGPT Bing announcement came on the 2nd, and then the Google, the other one, came the 3rd. So it was like they're
Yes,
basically the exact same time. It's really hard
responding.
to know. We literally don't know. So, John, Google's AI failed in his presentation. Yikes. Okay, is that true? Oh my god.
It must be. It must
Wow.
be. But in the end of the day, so did Elon Musk when he tried to throw that metal ball at his bulletproof car and it went straight to the window. I mean, there's going to be things. I think even one of the Apple ones. I think it might have still been in Steve Jobs' days. The device didn't work or something when it was the new Apple phone, the big
Oh
unveil or
no.
whatever. There was a big problem with something there. I mean, those things happen. I think that the bigger thing is how far along is Google from being able to roll this out? That's the bigger question for me, and that remains to be seen because we don't really know. Whereas we've got Microsoft revealing AI Copilot's escalated with Google, and they already have announced their new feature. And the Edge browser, already has ChatGPT AI integrated into it. So currently, Microsoft is definitely ahead in this AI game.
Well, you
So,
actually have to use Bing is the thing. I don't know if actually people are using it though. Maybe they were first, but are people
but they
using Bing?
might start. They might start if Google's is shit or if Google's isn't rolled out quick enough, and whereas Bing has already got it working, and now we've already seen that ChatGPT is now mostly, if you want consistent service, because it's always offline, you have to pay to get consistent service, or you can just go onto Microsoft Bing for free and experiment with it. So, if Google comes out tomorrow and theirs is great and working, then I don't think Bing will get much market share. If Google doesn't come out soon with a working AI and update their search engine results, people could start going over and really enjoying it and getting used to Bing.
They just need ChatGPT slash Bing would need something that's so overarchingly better than Google's that it would be.
Dude, it's got AI, it's working with AI. That is better.
Sure, but we're
So
but we're weeks away from Google having the same thing, is what I'm saying. Like you need
yeah,
something
exactly.
big move that gets people to say, okay, fuck it, I'm moving from Google. Fuck Google. It's really hard to do in the same way that even if Tesla dropped a phone, it would take an extra thing to get them to actually make some real sales and compete. It would have to have something that's really, really unique that you can't really replicate. And that's tough with AI because they can just learn from each other and just replicate it right after the other person comes after it. So I think we're in for a fucking ride. If I was to guess, I would say Google still wins this race, but we'll see.
So Google has got a massive head start,
Yeah.
70 something percent market share, from the perspective that they're starting the AI race way ahead, but Microsoft is way ahead in the AI side of it. So who gets to the
Yeah.
finish line? Nobody knows. But I remember the days when Nokia's were the only phone that anyone wanted. And really it was as much as Apple is now. And then I remember the days when BlackBerry were the only phones that anybody wanted.
Blackberries were
And
good.
now it's either Apple or Samsung, right?
Yeah.
But that changes, and we've seen that
Sure,
changes.
sure.
So just because Google is so far ahead on the search game at this point does not mean that a disruptive technology like AI could come and turn them on their head.
It's just
Could
gotta be
not come.
good. It's gotta
Could
be
not
super
come
good
and turn them
because
on their
Google
head.
has it. But Google has AI. It's like that's true if Google didn't have AI, but Google literally
Well,
has what
that's
Microsoft
why
has.
they've said they have this, right?
Yeah. So
But in the
it's
end of
just
the
really
day,
depends.
it's not yet live. So is it days, is it weeks, or is it years? And they're just trying to buy time. I can tell you that there's a mad rush inside Google at the moment to get a prototype up and running, like live, that people
Yeah.
can use, because otherwise they will start to slowly lose some market share.
Well, the issue
Um,
with Microsoft is not a big player, right? I mean, they are a big player, but they're not a big player as far as
in
attention.
search,
They have
yeah.
nobody knows like if you ask a random person in the street and you said, "Hey, uh, like, what is Microsoft? They would probably struggle. They'd be like, oh, it's the computers, right? And you're like, well, yeah, but like, what is it? Be like, well, I don't actually know. You know, like Microsoft's kind of hazy. They don't really know what the brand is. There's not like a
But remember, that was the same. No one knew what BlackBerry was, and everyone knew Nokia. Remember also, Microsoft's in a unique position that a lot of PCs run on Windows,
Mhm.
and by default, Bing is the search engine there, on
Oh,
the browsers by default.
true.
If you know, when you get Microsoft and you open Safari or whatever they call Edge or whatever they call it, Bing is by default there.
Oh, the thing is,
And
I would
now, if
immediately go and
Bing is
download Google Chrome from Safari. That's the
exactly.
first thing I do.
But if Bing is good and it's AI, like here it's saying, you can literally ask it any question verbally in your own language and it will answer it for you.
Mm,
Like
mm,
certain things like that are just seamless for AI are difficult when there's no AI involved. And it's going to be interesting. I don't know the answer, but it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
good point. The AI will push this fucking digital world so fast. I'm very excited because AI, as it gets bigger, Metaverse has no choice but to grow with it. Because if we can input stuff and things come out, there's no reason we can't do that visually. There's no reason AI can't learn to fix that and just throw that into a visual world. I've got so many video ideas for AI Metaverse style content together. That kind of spurned from my conversation with Brett. So I'm excited. I'm very excited for AI. It does make me nervous, but like not really. I'm much more excited than
No,
ever.
it's very exciting. Very, very. And speaking of Tesla's fails, your friend, Kate, you and I are going to have a bit of an argument